Hello, thank you for joining us here today. I'm Isabella Ostman, and I'm delighted to be here with you again today on Wise Folks. And today, my special guest is Chad McGillivray from Get My Kit. Chad is an expert in emergency preparedness, and he's going to talk a little bit about what we can do to be better prepared when the big one hits. Now, Chad, you travel all over Vancouver Island talking about emergency preparedness, and scientists these days, of course, are saying that it's not if it's going to hit, it's when it's going to hit. And as residents of Vancouver Island, we accept the risk that the earthquake potential is there, but are we prepared for it?
Well, the answer to that is some people are prepared, but not as prepared as they probably should be. There's some steps that most people should take, and one of those is creating an emergency preparedness plan. It's definitely one of the things that they should do. I brought one with me here today that you can download an emergency preparedness plan from any government website. The province of British Columbia has a great one on there. You can also download one from getmykit.ca and start filling out an emergency preparedness plan and photocopying all of the important documents. So you should have a photograph of every person in your household, copy of all of the important identifications, so like your passport, your driver's license, care card, all of these types of things should also be included as part of your preparedness plan. You might not be able to get to your top drawer to grab the passport, or your wallet beside the bed, or your purse beside the couch, things like that. So you should have all of these documents photocopied and put into your grab-and-go kit. So if you need to evacuate in a moment's notice, that you grab your grab-and-go bag and have these things.
So what else would be an important part of having your emergency plan?
A part of your emergency plan, a key component that I believe is very important. One of them also is an out-of-town contact. For those of you that don't know what an out-of-town contact is, this is somebody that's going to be outside of the epicenter, somebody that's would not be affected by the same type of disaster. But one of the important things that you should have in your part of your emergency plan is a meeting place. So I do a lot of workshops and preparedness events with large groups of people, and I always ask somebody in the crowd if they have a meeting place set up for their loved one or their partner in the event of a catastrophic earthquake or any disaster. And 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. And the only thing that's going to be important in a time of crisis is getting back with our loved ones. The first things we'll probably do is pull out our cell phones. We have that type of technology, and it probably won't work. And so having a meeting place 1 and a meeting place 2 set up is a very important component of your emergency plan. So
what are some of the things that we should gather to have on hand in the case of an emergency?
Definitely. One of the main couple of components would be food, water, and shelter for a minimum of 3 days.
For each person?
For each person, definitely. It's recommended to have 7 days by most municipalities all over Vancouver Island, and even the province of British Columbia recommend to have 7 days supplies, but a minimum of 3 days for food, water, and shelter. Other things like first aid and communication would be important, so a crank radio or a solar flashlight, things like that would be very important to have.
So now I've gone and I've put together all of my stuff. Where do I store it?
Probably the number one question that I get asked after every workshop that I do. And the answer to that, well, there's no right answer, right or wrong answer, I should say. It's recommended by most levels of government to keep it near an entrance or exit to your home. If you are trapped in your home, you'll still have it. And if you're in your home when you're evacuating, you're going to grab it near your entrance or exit while you're evacuating the building.
So have it portable would be a good thing then.
That's a great thing to touch on. I encourage everybody to have it in a grab-and-go bag, something where you're not going to be relying on anyone or anything, so not relying on your RV or a big garbage can or a tote. Those totes in your garage are a great option if you're able to stay in your home, but if evacuation is part of your story, and if and when that big one happens, it will probably be part of my story and your story, unfortunately, and having a grab-and-go backpack so your arms are free to move any fallen debris or grab other things or people will be much helpful.
Now I keep a stockpile of food in my place, and what I try to do is rotate it so that I buy another case of soup, then I will rotate it from the cupboard. And I also have, which I just put in, was a can opener. It's realizing that chances are I may not have electricity when if something happens, so I've got a manual can opener that I bought to have on hand.
Definitely, yeah. Power is something to think about too when creating your emergency plan. If the power is not cut off after a damaging earthquake, it will probably be turned off because of all of the downed lines will be a hazard. So things to put into consideration when it comes to that would be ATMs won't work. So you should have cash in small denominations inside of your emergency plan. I would recommend $100 per person. Another tip to think about if there's no power is gas pumps rely on power, and if there's no power, that means you're not getting gas. So keep your gas tank half full.
That's a great idea.
Definitely.
Now, if somebody was looking for more information, a little bit more, where can they go?
Definitely. There's an amazing 3-step guide you can download at getmykit.ca, or again, you can hop onto the Province of British Columbia's website, and there's lots of great forms and information on there as well with emergency preparedness.
Yeah, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Chad McGilvray from Get My Kit. Now we are going to go and check to see what Dan and Dan have been up to.